who really gets to be seen in media? More importantly, how do they get seen? Hey y'all, it's your boy, and the roses are falling as I welcome myself back to my own YouTube channel. And today we are going to be talking about Black LGBTQ people being portrayed in the media as episode 3 of Storytimes of Pride, because these are indeed story times. These are these stories that are true to some degree, that are fiction. These are these story times. Again, these are my stories, but these are how the media portrays Black LGBTQ people, and we're going to get a real deep dive into it. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. Let's start with the good news. we love a little good news. Over the past decade, we've seen a huge shift in how Black queer folks are shown on screen. We're talking about full, complex human characters, not just sidekicks and stereotypes, right? Pose, for example, y'all remember Pose with I forgot her name. Is Michaela something. I think she got nominated for a Grammy. It was like really revolutionary when she did. But that show did what needs to be done, centering Black and Afro-Latinx trans women and gay men, telling their stories with care and respect, And the fact that it was co-created by Janet Mock, a Black trans woman, that's history. That show deserved all the Grammys that it was nominated, Emmys, Grammys, whatever. I'm sorry for saying the wrong award, but that show deserves it. And then we have Moonlight, a film that won an Oscar and told the quiet, beautiful story of a Black boy coming of age, navigating masculinity and queerness. It wasn't loud or flashy, but it was real. And I love me some Moonlight, y'all. I love me some Moonlight. When that movie first came out and I was watching on Netflix, I love me some Moonlight. And then creators like Lena Waithe of 20s, Masters of None, and others out here telling our stories from inside out, not watered down, not sanitized, just raw and real. But there's always a but. There's always a but. Not all representation is good representation, y'all. Black queer people still face a lot of erasure and flat out disrespect in mainstream media. Let's be honest, how many times do you see Black queer character and they're either the sassy best friend, y'all can think of a couple, the tragic background story, y'all could think of a couple, Pose kind of being one of them, but it was good example, but and then, or they just delivered a one-liner and bounce. And that, or they're in an interracial relationship with a non-Black queer person of color. Non-Black queer person. We've seen that. We haven't seen much Black on Black queer relationships portrayed in the media. We haven't seen someone who wasn't the sassy best friend, who wasn't a tragic bad story. We haven't seen much of that. And the worst, in Black-centered shows and movies, queerness often gets left out completely. Because y'all know how much the Black community hates queer people. Queer people get left out completely. Like, Black people exist on a spectrum, y'all. We exist across a spectrum. There's so many different kinds of Black people. And queer people often get left out. We're not all straight. And we never have been. That's the thing, y'all. We never all been straight. Why is it so hard for Hollywood to grasp this concept truly? Another problem that needs to be mentioned, though, is the trauma-heavy narratives. What Tyler Perry does for the straight people. It occurs with the gays as well, and even then, Tyler does the same thing with the gays. In the and his narratives too, or at least his recent narratives. And so many shows rely on homophobia, transphobia, violence, or HIV as the only way to tell our stories. Yes, these are real issues, y'all. These are real issues. But we deserve joy too. We fall in love, we dance, we mess up, we glow up, just like everyone else. Give us rom-coms. Give us a drama without trauma. Give us slice of life moments. Give us stories that are survival based. And that goes for black shows and stuff in general, but especially black queer ones. Because when all we see is pain and suffering, it sends a message to our brains, whether intentional or not, that our lives are tragic. And that's just not the full truth. Our lives are far from tragic. Representation isn't just a buzzword. It literally saves lives. When young black queer people see themselves reflected in media as full people, it tells them you matter, you're not alone, and your story, you deserve space. Y'all deserve peace. And that's powerful. It also forces to confront its biases, whether it's anti-blackness in queer spaces or homophobia in black spaces. These stories challenge people to grow, to rethink, and to listen. Let me give flowers real quick to some shows and characters that kind of got it right, that decently got it right. We have Noah's Ark. I remember watching Noah's Ark on YouTube because they would post the little episodes on YouTube. I remember watching that. That was a good show. Talks as fuck. Noah, we gonna have to fight. You did way so wrong. We're gonna have to fight. You a hoe. We gonna have to fight. But it's a decent representation. And it's kind of underrated. No one really talks about Noah's Ark like that. It's besides literally black queer men. No, we're the only ones that talk about Noah's Ark. And we have to Shy. I love Shy. I love me some Shy. And it brought about a trans love story that was tender and actually genuine. That was actually genuine. And then we have P-Valley. P-Valley is kind of messy, but it's funny, y'all. I love P-Valley. It's gritty and southern and complex. Little Murder and Uncle Clifford, y'all. Iconic. And then Sex Education. Eric in this movie, in this show, bro. Eric had the perfect boyfriend in Raheem, and he went to that fugly Adam guy. Oh my god, just because he has a big... That doesn't mean he's the one for you. Why are you going to your bully, bro? Why? But again, this is an accurate representation because some of us will go to the one. I'm going to talk about this later on in my DL video, but a lot of us openly gay members, we go closer to heterosexuality. The closer we can get to a hetero man, the better for a lot of gay people. And I don't know why, but I'm going to talk about that later on. But anyways, his storyline, though, is complex, funny, painful, and real. Just a little too real, and he be irking my nerves personally, but I'm not going to do too much on him. So, what do we think? What do I think? Are we moving forward, or just shifting the same tired narratives into new outfits? Drop a comment and tell me which black queer character or show impacted you the most. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that, and send it to someone who needs it. Send someone who maybe is looking for some really good black queer shows, and tell them that I recommended some in this video. And until next time, which is literally tomorrow, stay loud, stay proud, and most of all, stay real. Bye. This is the end of Storytimes with Pride, episode 3.